Hello there. Welcome to SpeedGaming for another Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament race. Round of 32 Ambrosia style today. Telethar versus zerorush. I am Eudaimonistic, joined today by JP. JP, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing great. Looking forward to this. I haven't got to comment with you in a while, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Telethar and zerorush, highly renowned names, and of course, excellent runners in their own right. They are 1-all currently in their head-to-head series, trying to escape the round of 32, make it to 16. Here we go.
And the boots are in Meyer. It'll be a little bit before we get there.
Yeah, Ambrosia, aka the Nectar of the Gods, as it's been said before. Quite suiting, Kamigami no Triforce, as a Triforce of the Gods reference, maybe. Also, you find items on bosses, which is cool. And get a boots hint at the beginning. We'll have an assured sword, right?
Yep, they'll get a sword from the uncle, which you'll see in a few seconds. Actually, I don't know if they'll get a sword from the uncle. They might just have that. I always forget in this mode.
Yeah, I think if you had boots, for example, from Link's House, you could dash through some. Or no, it's not an assured sword. What am I forgetting here?
I thought it was assured. I haven't played them. Oh, no, that is. They just weren't slashing it right away. Which, of course, they cannot until they get past uncle.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty myself. So we do get an assured sword. It activates upon getting to the uncle, and he does still give a different item. That was the part that tripped me out. But we have plenty of bombs going into a standard escape sequence here, which is nice. Of course, you do want one if you're not going to have those boots. And not having to farm guards, pretty nice.
Yeah, you can just get through the escape sequences is pretty much NMG at this point, with the exception that you have to stop in that one room right before you go upstairs.
Well, a little bit of bumping and grinding here going on for Telethar. A little behind zerorush on the way to the basement. A good upward sword spin for zerorush. Not quite the perfect position, but not wasting much time either, as Telethar gets a slightly better key drop.
Not much to talk about during these first 6 minutes. It's a pretty standard sequence. These runners have probably done it 100, if not 1,000 times.
Something we can call attention to is how they've gotten here. zerorush having defeated Dazed Cloud in round 1, aka the round of 64, and Telethar took down Aridin. Telethar winning 2-0, zerorush hotly contested 2-1, as that's a mirror here in the escape.
That'll cut off about a minute. You always love to see that in this game because it just makes us a little faster.
If it's not boots, a mirror is certainly welcome.
So zerorush going for sword slash. Looks like Telethar's going to go the same way.
Yeah, you love seeing 8 slash at all levels of competition. Of course, not a lot of time difference between grabbing pots and slashing 8 times. But, you like to see bold, behavior here. Fortune does favor it.
Exactly. And see them both go into the back of escape now. Got 4 more chests. Oh, 5 more chests, including Sanctuary. They already have the key. I don't think we've seen the map yet.
Could this be the fabled map skip scenario? I mean, we still have some opportunity here. I love seeing it. Anytime a runner can remember that that last chest has that map, it just feels good. It's like skipping Sankart in an NMG run.
Yeah. Well, not there, so yes, that possibility is still alive.
I mean, not that it really matters too much, but it feels real great to see.
Yeah. Well, honestly, most of the time I open the chest anyway because I'm like, I don't want to forget something in escape, so let me just make sure I'm right.
Yeah, I mean, the psychological value of just knowing you did not leave something on accident. I'm with you there. Even if I knew, I'd probably still second guess myself.
Let's see what we got back here. We got 50 rupees, ether, and fire rod. So yes, this is the potential Sank skip.
Holy moly, that's a heck of a find back there.
Yeah, that is a very nice find.
Well, we are fully equipped to make good use of our inventory. That fire rod's a really awesome find early on. A lot of folks at this stage of the tournament don't really need a lamp very often, and just having a fire source at all really alleviates a lot of concerns later on.
Yep, there's the skip for Zero Rush. Telethar is going to just make sure.
Sword slash for measure. I don't blame him.
Alright, so we have not seen a map check yet, so we don't know what our dungeons are.
We did see a map check. Telethar grabbed it.
Oh, good point. We haven't seen an overworld map check.
Yeah, as you mentioned, while we can find maps, of course, it's not like it's a mode that shuffles them, so we can see all of that information. We're getting green rupees for our tier 2 tree pole, I believe.
Yep, tier 2. No bush crab check, but Telethar can do that in the Lost Woods. Telethar is going to check Aga, or Lumberjack, and just a red rupee.
I find that check really interesting when you know that boots are in Misery Mire. It doesn't make it more or less likely necessarily. It's just a deep logical requirement. So Telethar trying to play as conservatively as possible, it looks like.
That's a good point, yeah. With Boots and Mire, they're buried behind quite a few items. So it doesn't, yeah, as you said, it doesn't mean it's not possible for something to be on Lumberjack. It just makes it very unlikely for something to be on Lumberjack.
Now, one boots check I can't imagine people would avoid checking on the way through here is definitely the library. I think if you're heading south anyway to race game, you're definitely going to look. Lumberjack a little more out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Moon Pearl. That's it so far, unless there's something in the back. Nope. Well, Moon Pearl's good. Very fitting for that to be in blind set. The thieves stole the pearl.
Yeah, despite the filler inventory in those chests, I don't think either of these runners are going to be quivering after all those arrows.
Ooh, Telethar using some mirror strats. Get a hammer. Do we get the fabled go right to Dark World from Kek? We can.
Hey, let's go. JP has seen all of the data points, has connected the dots. He is now a member of the Matrix at this point.
Yeah, you might want to be careful there. Otherwise, I'm going to start replicating. I don't think anybody wants that.
Just Agent JP. This is inevitable after all that we go to Thieves Town after this, right?
Yeah. This is always an interesting situation, though, when you do get everything from CAC right away. It's like, do you want to go do South Shore and get all those item checks right away, or do you just want to push on?
Yeah, now that we already have a couple of the... Oh, that is a map check. 5-6 crystal on Hera, and Desert is the other crystal. The regular crystal, and we have a pendant, red pendant on Eastern Palace. You got to wonder, like, there's not that much more we would even need to go find that Misery Mire boots at this point. You would need a flute and another glove, and we're not that far away from it.
Zero Rush is going to go straight to Dark World. He's not going to do South Shore.
Yeah, I like this choice particularly with the mirror, because those are going to be very easy to chain together, and you'll have a huge loop through the Dark World you can accomplish now.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point with the mirror. Why are you going in the front door, Telethar? But yeah, with the mirror, you can do a lot of overworld. Plus, if Skullwoods is a crystal, you could take that out right now.
I don't envy anybody doing Fighter Sword or even, I guess, Hammer Moth, but there's another map check. 5-6 at Skull Woods, our green pendant at Pod, and our last remaining pendant at Turtle Rock. Yo, shout out to Zero Rush for giving us time to catch up on that.
Yeah, I think
this game lives up to the name.
Zero Rush is going straight into Skull Woods, so let's see if he full clears. Now we know because of Ambrosia, we know there's an item on Moth.
And I would say this is one of those dungeons that's very heavily affected by Ambrosia. There's only 2 items normally, and that's one of them.
Yep. So you can basically go. I think Zero Rush got caught off guard there.
Yeah, it's like you're at the very beginning of a loop, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna bypass.
Yeah. Telethar is going to be a little more conservative, not going to take the tricky fight, potentially tricky fight here, and he's going to go for Thieves Town, it looks like.
Which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like both are very defensible. You have all the items you need to make sure you've got everything from both, and you can get quite a few things here in the Thieves Town area. With Village of Outcasts, you could potentially find another sword, you could find all kinds of other equipment that'll help you with the various bosses you're about to encounter.
So Rush just went to the back to grab that magic to get the full refill so he can get to the back. Chad bring up an interesting point. With Eastern and Pod pendants, Bow we may not necessarily need this seed. It's always required because you at least need it for the GT climb, but the 2 rooms you need it for, you could glitch through.
Yeah, and at this stage of the tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if either of them were practiced at Mimic Clip. We also find a Bombos medallion, which is spicy in my opinion, both in use and in location, as with a little bit of minor glitch, fake flippering, we could potentially just a glove away from Ice Palace.
That's true, yeah. Fire Rod Bombos, Ice Palace could be on the table very early. But yeah, as you said, we still need a mitts for that.
Alrighty, well, Zero Rush, contrary to his name, very much rushing this boss, going at it with very little to work with. Hammer strats for now.
Hammer Moth is definitely a tricky one. But that was pretty nice.
I'll be frank, if this were me, I'd be 5 hearts less right now.
Yeah, this is definitely tricky. It takes a lot of practice, and it's one of those that you kind of, if you're going to be at this level, you have to practice at low percent. That's 1 crystal for Zero Rush at just 12 minutes.
Skull Woods at that. Zero Rush just cruising through. And of course, Telethar not that far behind. Thieves Town, a naturally longer dungeon to begin with. But I have no reason to think Telethar wouldn't make it all the way through this. We'll need to get through the attic real quick. This is a spicy, low health scenario here. You gotta watch out for these crickets. Well, seems to have managed to get the bomb taken care of. Takes a hit, blue mail, saving lives. Well, Telethar keeping it 100 with his 200 rupees and half a heart to his name. Gonna opt to be a little bit more cautious than normal here. There are quite a few hearts you can pick up in the basement, but you just gotta get there.
Yeah, there are opportunities to recover health down there. There's at least 2 pots.
Yeah, and of course, I think we still have the hallway heart. I don't think Telethar picked that up on the way through. 4 heart blind, not a big deal if you do the script right.
And you get a sword, so it's not so bad.
There's, of course, a little bit of weirdness with Fighter Sword specifically, as it's a little bit less distance that you can reach. But we're not worried about sword beams or nothing else, and Telethar skipping out on half a heart, surprisingly.
And he's also countered his chest, so he's going straight to blind, knows he needs nothing else.
Yeah, and it would look like that small key is back there in that chest since he didn't have one. Ah, I see. Didn't bother to go back because he knew there was still a heart right there. Smart thinking.
Yep.
It's like a good setup here. Spin is unfortunate, but doesn't take damage.
Yep. Oh, that was a hit. Oh. Yeah, that got a little dicey at the end there, but he sliced the head off.
I got to give props to Telethar for keeping a cool head there, because that was, well, 3 heads, really. Smoothly dodging those fireballs at the very end. That was a close call, and without that kind of focus and concentration, could have been a return visit.
There's his first crystal. Now let's see how he's going. Okay, he's going to Skullwoods now. So that's kind of actually a nice little route here, because he killed Blind first, which gave him a full magic refill, which will save him a little time that Zero Rush had to spend going to get the full magic.
Yeah, and on top of that, Telethar will have 1 extra heart, presuming that he does check this chest the same way that Zero Rush did, and really there's no reason not to.
Looks like that's exactly what he's going to do.
All in all, I'd say that Telethar is going to have a bit of a lead leaving Skull Woods. Now, where you go from there is kind of a hard question to answer. You got Graveyard Ledge in the neighborhood, but do you go south from here is my question.
If you go south, you can get a lot of items in a row. Between Hype Cave, Mini Moldorm, the Dam, there's everything in. Also on the way, you got the Dig Game, you've got Stumpy, you've got K45, you got all that stuff down there. Looking for the dungeons, there's not much else they can really do right now.
And that's kind of where my head was at, asking that, because it might seem kind of strange to do, but a Kern jump could take you across the river, and with that hammer, you have pretty much access to the same stuff anyway. If somebody felt inclined to go to pod early, that would be a reason I could think of. But I think you're right. I think there's so many things going on in the dark and light worlds that you may as well be just going south from here.
Yeah, and the other, if pod was a crystal, I'd maybe be a little more inclined to do that. But with pod being a pendant, that's a tougher call.
Well, you don't have faith in pendant pod, JP?
I've been burned by pendant pod too many times. I know it can have stuff, but I think I'd more stick with the density right now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much they can do, both worlds right now going in that route. So Mothula and Blind fight simultaneously. I kind of thought Telethar would be a little bit faster into the boss room, but an excellent fight.
And they're both going to pick up their second crystals about the exact same time.
Yeah, we saw Zero Rush with a little bit better of a blind script, not really taking much damage. So it looks like a lot of that time evened out between the two of them.
I think Telfar's going to lose still a little behind because he's got to walk out of here. But I guess it also depends on which way they both go. Yeah, Zero Rush needs to check the rest of the village too. I don't know. I think Telethar checked. Or did he?
If he did, he didn't check Sea House, because that's our first look at a flute.
Oh, that's big. That's now potentially one item away from Meyer access, which is Boots access. Potentially.
And for what it's worth, if you're going to just check the chest game on your way up, not a bad time to get the Sea House here for Telethar. I don't think it would have made much of a difference to grab it earlier. So neither of them really at risk of missing this.
Oh, good point. Chad also says we need the hook shot to get into Meyer. That's something you forget about.
Right, because it's so often you have Boots to do it.
So Zero Rush is just fluting away, and he's gonna fake flipper, I think? Or no, he's just walking to Mini Boulder from here. Which is kind of odd, not gonna world tour, and just... I guess it kind of makes sense. I can see it both ways, I guess.
To me, this seems like the kind of decision you make if you want to hedge your bets against the early spheres of logic, thinking that you probably missed something in the rush to go to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah. I suppose if you left the portal at the statue, the bird statue, you can flip back to 3 and get right back into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then that's that much less that you got to walk over here once you make it to Hype Cave. So I suppose you might save a mirror transition or two and a bit of walking off the flute.
I suppose. Yeah. I'm just gonna do the dam right away too.
You know, JP, I guess we're going to find out. It looks like the two of them have completely diverging expectations of how to handle this.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of a mirror bonk there for Telethar.
Speaking of skips and all that, Zero Rush never saw that library that we're getting from Telethar, and you know it's one of those things that we kind of talked about. Hey, you probably wouldn't skip that, or at least I insisted, probably erroneously. But Telethar doing the more thorough thing. I gotta imagine we've probably seen that now from Zero Rush.
Yeah. There's a bottle at the race game. First bottle, so you probably want to pick it up.
I'm so confused about what Zero Rush is up to right now. Says, you know what, I don't need that race game right now. I don't need to check that library. I'm just gonna... I mean, I get the choice to do dig game first if you're gonna be in the area, though. Wow, that's cash money.
Telthar's actually going to leave the bottle behind. I can understand that too. But you got 4 bottles in the pool. It's very unlikely that that's the one bottle you can access to get the one thing that Sick Kid has.
I also, you know, kind of see the value. If you intend to walk south from here, you know, you really don't want to do that whole loop and not taking the time right now. Looks like Zero Rush will be scouting out these locations on the way through, presumably to continue south.
He is going to grab the bottle. So we'll see if this pays off for Zero Rush.
So yeah, in my mind, you grab this bottle if you're going to immediately head back north to go to the Sick Kid. You could potentially want to do it if you're planning to, you know, potion glitch in pod or, you know, camera unlock for that reason.
That's a possibility too. Let's see what Hype Cave gives us. Plenty of money. That's about it.
It's interesting, though, because, you know, it doesn't hurt to have more health, but more importantly, Zora money in the region where you might fake Flipper to get there. I'm very curious to see if Telethar will do the water checks following this.
You might, but I also think you might be starting to head towards Death Mountain. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm just looking. You got the hammer, you got the mirror. So you got a bunch of checks up here now.
Yeah, and it seems almost likely at this point that we find the hook shot in this path.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Skipping out Mini Moldorm Cave, which, you know, is always rough, but on Zero Rush side we know that there wasn't really anything in it. So it's not going to hurt him.
I will say it's an interesting choice to make. I guess that's a pretty large screen super tile to, you know, move through, but yeah, I guess it's fast to get back to later.
Oh, he's just saving the old man. Okay.
You know, flute will make you do some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, well.
I mean, if I had a flute, I don't think I'd be trying to fly in a duck.
That's fair. It's got to be a strong duck.
That's a trans-dimensional duck, actually.
That is true, yes. Alright, does this bottle pickup pay off, or is it empty?
In the literal sense, it does.
Literally, yes. You emptied the sick kid's piggy bank.
Well, for Telethar, it was either here or up on the mountain, and he chose to use that medallion here instead. Gonna get some extra goodies, but not much. And head back on up, I imagine. Although, as I mentioned before, the fake flipper an option. I think the flute indicates otherwise.
Now Telethar's going back up the mountain, and we're probably going to see these two doing about the same stuff now. Okay, little bit of a delay there. Bit rock blocked.
Holding on the defense, players number 2 and 3.
Yeah. So both of these could do Hera right now. They do have the means to complete it. So it depends on if you want to wait to try to Hera pot it or not.
And I gotta get the feeling at this point that the risk of missing that hook shot, which as we know is likely the critical piece that we're going to be missing, if anything, outside that glove for boots access, I think you'd want to just complete Hera even if you can't Hera pot.
One other thing to note is this is our second, I believe this is our second red crystal. Yeah, Skull Woods is our other. So Pyramid Fair will be open pretty early.
We'll find out real quick here if our runners decide they want to complete this dungeon. I think it looks like they're about to. We'll find out here shortly.
You get the big key, and that motivates you a little more to complete it.
Well, step and step between these two at the moment.
It seemed pretty even. I think maybe Zero Rush is a little faster.
Well, we'll see how they do through the petting zoo room, as NMG fans would definitely love to recall from the practice hack. Zero Rush with a little bit extra speed here. Although Telethar with a faster bomb jump.
Oh, that's not a good fall for Zero Rush.
And that may be enough to convince him to not continue. No, he's going to go back for it. Good.
Was that an item in the big chest?
I'll be honest, I kind of missed it.
I did too. Oh, our tracker says it was a heart container, so no basement needed. Well, nothing coming up in Hera, but at least it's full clear. You don't have to ever come back here.
Yeah, it's one data point you don't want to have to double back on. Of course, there is the tablet itself that could potentially rear its ugly head later, but for all intents and purposes, we are pretty much done with this part of the mountain.
So now you got 8 more checks on this side of the mountain. Plus you get to scout 1. Gotta find something that's gonna point us in a direction soon.
Because at this point, we're pretty much reduced to spelunking through dungeons.
Yeah, I think if you don't find anything up here, your next play's gotta be Pod. Actually, yeah, I would go... On the off chance they don't find anything up here, I'd say Pod Eastern is your next kind of plays.
And I think it would even make a lot of sense to stop by Sahasrahla through Mirror on the way through.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of items over there now. But we still have 7 items in a Paradox Cave.
Yeah, so an answer we'll find yet. Telethar faster to the draw here, as Zero Rush is going to do the Spiral Cave on the way down. And creative use of both Bomb and Mirror. Telethar almost pulling off a really swift move,
Yeah.
which totally wasn't an accident.
Yeah, totally was not an accident. Well, that would have looked really nice had he pulled it off. You would have had people practicing that maneuver.
It's one of those, like, hey, you drop the bomb wrong on, like, a hammer yump, and you make it work anyway.
Exactly. Telethar gets his first bottle. There's a book, you go back checking that tablet. But that's it. And I actually would probably go back and check that tablet right now, because you can loop that in with Spike Cave.
I was just about to ask, you don't skip that here, do you?
No, you didn't find anything else. Even though you can only scout it, you just at least check it. And like I said, you just got half magic. You've got everything for Spike Cave. Just go knock them both out right now.
Well, Telethar getting the mirrored, I guess, fall here. A little less severe, but that will give Zero Rush a little bit of time back.
Now, it is worth noting, whatever's on Ether, they cannot get right now, as Zero Rush is not going to do that. Telethar is definitely sticking to being a little more thorough.
Yeah, I would say that's the second time this race we've seen Telethar intentionally take long routes to make sure that everything's checked.
Oh no, Zero Rush is going to go to Desert. That's an interesting call. There's the myths. Oh wow. Okay, that's actually pretty big.
Yeah, it's been scoutable for at least like 20 minutes now. I mean, scoutable with flute. Scoutable in general right from the rip as soon as you escape.
Yeah. So those myths get you to the Mire area, but still need the hook shots to get into Mire. And even if you get into Mire, there's only a 50-50 chance you can actually get the boots right now.
Come on, Spike Cave hookshot or checkerboard hookshot. Those would be funny to me.
Oh! Okay, now once you have Mire access for Telethar, that's a 100% chance to get those boots.
And on top of that, presuming you're okay with Mire in the dark, which at this health we probably are, that's completion availability as well.
So Zero Rush, I believe, did not find a key in the first chest, so this is a boots locked desert. He's gonna go grab those myths though.
So I guess at this point, mitts don't actually block a ton of things, that we weren't already kind of in the progress of doing. We can check the Mire area, of course, and Ice Palace through Sequence Break. But outside of that, we didn't really get too much out of this. Maybe we can do Turtle Rock if we have that cane. We could do at least part of it.
Telethar, could this be a pyramid play? Grab Big Bomb, go check pyramid?
Seems like it to me. I think that Telethar so far has proven to us that there's an intention to try and do what Zero Rush won't. And Zero Rush will get a bow.
Now that becomes very interesting. Because now you've got Eastern and Pod Pendants available. Pedestal definitely not in those cards at all yet. You need a little bit more still for that. I'm not even thinking Pedestal in this seed until I see an Ice Rod.
Agreed. And you don't want to even think about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do also like the choice to go Pyramid Fairy here, because you can get a free potion out of it as well, when you're likely to be heading to Pod anyway. However, if Telethar does follow suit as Zero Rush did, that Cane of Samaria will be a very nice advantage. It's going to be a while before Zero Rush feels inclined to go back up the mountain for that.
Just a red rupee on the pyramid. Let's see if this Pyramid Fairy does pay off. I
Yeah.
not required per se, but definitely good.
Yeah, just having knowledge that you don't have to go find another sword, definitely worthwhile. I guess the sooner you do that, the more value you get out of it.
Looks like zerorush is going to make the same play. And I think this is Telethar now going to go stop by the potion shop, grab a potion, and then go check Catfish.
Yeah, we did see Telethar safe scum the mushroom, so looking to keep that advantage for later, in case a fake powder is going to be helpful for us.
Oh, nope, not going to grab a potion. Like you do have the flute, so potion pickup is not a big deal.
I guess at that point it's not worth the mirror transition.
He's going to check Catfish, but will not be able to do Zora unless Catfish gives a big payoff.
That was a quick warp lineup. Telethar is 300 IQ.
And to add a little more to that by mirroring before he catches his shields.
Alright, I guess 299 IQ.
Nothing on the ledge there. He's going to have to leave Zora behind. Now zerorush is going to go the Eastern Pod play as Telethar gets his piggy bank money from Sick Kid.
It's a kid all like, hey, I heard you wanted to go to Zora a moment ago. Here's a little more cash as insult.
And Telethar are going to check out Desert, which will give him a mitts look.
Yeah, so that's really big for Telethar. Checking this before going to the pod area will definitely help out a lot. That'll just make things a lot clearer for the route. I do like the decision from zerorush to go to the eastern pod area before going to Zora, because that's guaranteed money.
I think it's Hostela's Closet. I was asking about a little bit ago, like what we still need for go mode. I know where boots are, they're in Mire. Hookshot and Flipper is definitely needed. We might still need Quake. But that might be about it.
Yeah, we did already see that we needed Ether for Mire, so we're good there, but who knows if we need to get into Turtle Rock just yet. And that's where that Quake could come in. I mean, it could be just one of those classic, flips on Laser Bridge situations.
It could be, yeah. So Telethar grabbing those mitts. He's going to check the Mire area. Kind of in a similar situation. He can open Mire, but no hookshot can't get in. Well, he can get in, but he can't go past the front door.
Yeah, you can go in, but not in. Definitely dodging the Dark World Duck. No problems.
Now, the one big advantage Telethar is going to have for a while is that Samaria. It's a big question of when zerorush is even going to check that. His next good chance was going to be when he does his Dark Death Mountain checks. Which right now do not look very appealing because there's only 2 in Logic.
Yeah, it'd be a different story if you had the boots to at least get the one in Hookshot Cave, or if you're a hoverer, even try to get the rest of them, but not a lot of opportunity there right now.
Yeah, that would be actually the worst place for a hookshot to be right now is in Super Bunny Cave.
Well, Palace of Darkness proper, zerorush has gathered the right-hand side here in green pendant Palace of Darkness. Making his way back through. We'll probably be grabbing some cash on the way through the back.
Telethar join him in pod? Yes, he will.
So at surface level, it would appear that Zero Rush has a bit of a lead here. I guess that only stays that way if the Cane of Samaria doesn't materialize for Zero Rush through a Dark Death Mountain trip. Or I got that backwards. Telethar probably ahead. Who knows? We'll find out when we eventually see Zero Rush go up there.
Yeah, right now the big thing, if Hookshot and Flippers appear in Palace of Darkness, Zero Rush is in trouble. I will say one good thing about Hookshot Flippers for Go Mode is that we're likely going to have a Go Mode swamp. Unless, well, you could get Flippers first, and then that gets ugly. You want the Hookshot before the Flippers.
Potential for disaster and doom. Probably not in all likelihood, but if it were, that would be rough. I mean, because in that scenario, you don't conceivably go into Swamp until you've checked everything.
Yeah. So far, Pod not really showing anything. One more check. It could do Helma, I guess, but it's a tough call. It's a long check, but it is 2 items in this scenario.
Yeah, because you're going to get the item from the boss in Ambrosia mode, and of course you would have the green pendant to turn into Sahasrahla just next door. So I think that value increases quite a bit in this mode, particularly.
Yeah, Zero's just going to go for it. I can see it too, because at this point, you're also kind of running out of options. Like, there's nothing... At this point for Zero Rush, there's nothing really good out there for options. Like, most of your checks right now are 1 item, 2 items. I think you got Eastern with 3 items. That's, like, your densest check right now.
Props to Zero Rush for pulling off the sexy statue. A very difficult maneuver that looks super easy, but only because they make it look easy. I never pulled that off myself, but nice to see on a restream. And for context, when you push that statue onto the switch in the room prior, or the room 2 rooms prior, you can get it so that you can turn on the corner of the statue without wasting any time, which is deceptively difficult to do.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever pulled that off. Best I can do is wiggle a little bit so I'm not losing a few frames while pushing it up.
Hey, I'm all about wiggle tech.
It does say frames. Oh, I have not seen this bomb jump.
Oh, let's go. Yo. I've never seen it either. Is that the first time I've ever seen that?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that really saved time, because you're gonna go for this chest.
I mean, you win moral points, though, right? Like, I mean...
Yeah, that's true.
It's a swag victory.
Definitely. Definitely the swag there.
Telethar was like, well, if I'm not going to have my boots to do the more fun tech with the Samaria, then I'm at least going to find a way to save some time.
Alright, Zero's trying to extend that hammer hitbox.
Oh, doing an excellent job of getting those hammer hits on the Jewel in the second half of the fight. Taking them down with relative ease.
Just bombs, but that is the green pendant. Now, do you turn the green pendant in before Eastern, or are you going to go into Eastern first?
I kind of feel like you have to go into Eastern since we have 2 remaining Go Mode items, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I could be entirely wrong, though, about Zero Rush.
I guess one of those 2 items does open up quite a bit. And if you're truly trying to avoid Eastern...
Which, for what it's worth, I would want to as well. Hookshot, kind of like the only time save you can look for there. And that's a sword. Wow.
Okay, that's another check that's not technically required, but you'll take it. Zero Rush is not going to do Eastern for now. Not a lot open, though. Is this going to be maybe, I guess, Graveyard Ledge check? He could go. I guess he could go Graveyard Catfish, Zora, or...
Yeah, Zero Rush does have the cash now.
He looked a little indecisive there for a second.
Now that we're on the subject of it, Vanilla Flips has potential to be devastating for Telethar.
Yeah, that's true. That's a check that could really come back to bite Telethar, because you don't want to go back up there until you have flippers. But nope, Zero Rush is actually going to do Smith Chain.
I would think that the one potential redeeming route for Telethar, if it ends up being important on Zora, is like a fake flipper into Waterfall Cave into Zora. That might be the thing that leads him back there.
So Telethar is going to go take out Helma too, so these two are going to be equal on that. Going to save a little bit of time in this room.
Doesn't save the swag, but, did bank some of it earlier. Bit of a do-si-do with Mimic 2.
Just money. Bit of a buried treasure.
So another opportunity to see some divergence here. Zero Rush will not have that Cane of Samaria, therefore cannot fake powder. I don't even know if he used that mushroom yet, to be honest.
I don't think he has. Let's see, Purple Chest, are you going to yield anything?
On the bright side, got to flute over here for it.
Oh, okay. Well, there's those flippers.
That's pretty big. I mean, it's not like Telethar wouldn't consider going that route, but Telethar has already been in that area. So yeah, I guess we'll see what Telethar decides to do after this. If this ends up being Eastern Palace, this could go south real quick for Telethar.
Telethar not having luck with the hammer. Now, on the other side, though, if Zero Rush finds Hookshot, that could actually kind of be a little bad for him, because he might start rushing dungeons.
It's just like, I don't see a scenario where Zero Rush wants to do Dark Death Mountain first, but if Zero Rush does, this would be a very likely scenario for Zero Rush to have a win condition.
I think Telethar might be going into Eastern. He is. Okay.
So we could find that hookshot here, and that would be big news. TM.
Yeah, if he finds Hookshot here, this gets pretty interesting.
And of course, it is interesting. And folks, if you've been liking the broadcast so far, and you like those double boomerangs and Waterfall Cave as much as I do, you should give these two a follow and show them some love as they fight for their tournament lives here on SpeedGaming Prime. Links in chat for these two runners. Definitely check them out.
Got it even in the proper order. Blue then red.
I agree. Blue, then red. Always blue. And then red. I mean, do you put boomerang on pizza? I'm here for all the controversial opinions.
Yeah, that's a good one. Just love a little, not even a full piece of love from Zora, just a little piece. But yeah, Zero Rush has those flippers. He's gonna go to Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Telethar's still working through Eastern. I think we've seen one item in here so far. I guess we'll know if he decides to go straight to the boss or not. Okay, we have seen two. So this is going to be a quick Eastern.
Yeah, not a whole lot left to do here if you can afford to skip the back. That's one of the nice things about Ambrosia mode. You know that, sometimes that remaining item on the boss will give you easy dungeon traversal.
The other side, though, no Samaria means Zero is just going to be spending a little more time in Ice Palace than Telethar will when he gets here. Ooh.
It's actually impressive to miss that shot.
That is, yeah. Like, I don't even know how many pixels wide that is.
Not many. A little bit of a arrow release delay going to cause this to be a slightly longer fight, but Telethar emerging victorious from the Armos fight. Not going to get anything important, though. Unless, somehow, is that pedestal still alive?
I believe Hookshot can be there.
There's something special about a fast Ice Palace bomb jump and Zero Rush. Having no issues there.
No. Telethar going to pick up his Tempered Sword. So where does he go next? He's going up the mountain. This is likely going to be a Super Bunny check. He also, if he has the medallion for TR, he could go into TR right now.
And for all we know, that may end up being the play to make. So we'll find out shortly here what Telethar is feeling adventurous about. I think, though, that if you're up here and you may as well.
I kind of like the play, actually, because it is density. You're looking at potential 7 items between Super Bunny and Turtle Rock.
Also, shoutouts to Zero Rush doing every bomb jump in the book to get through this hookless Ice Palace.
Chad asking if this is a hookshot locked Ice Palace. I don't think it's necessarily guaranteed yet because Zero Rush did not check Ice Tea Room, which could still have a key.
And something to remember is that if you do the Ice Palace bomb jump, you're kind of shirking the logical requirements of the dungeon to begin with, so it's kind of hard to assess that until you've seen more chests.
Yeah, if you sequence break, you kind of... Well, you're not necessarily giving up logic, you just have to remember what you did, because you're kind of working around it.
Yeah, and the extra spicy part about this is that without the Cane of Samaria, which could potentially be a logical requirement for the dungeon, Zero Rush has to do some roundabouts here.
Yeah, he's got to... Well, actually, I don't, if he's been keeping track of item count, he might not need to go get the big key. I think he has. Yeah, Telethar is planning for a TR dip.
Yeah, so medallion confirmed, not necessary out of the Quake medallion today. We'll get a cold stare fight here from Zero Rush, who has half magic and will absolutely take good advantage of it. Bit of a weird lack of spooky, making this a bit awkward, but Zero Rush, no problems.
Remember when I said that Hookshot being a Super Bunny could be bad earlier?
It's bad, isn't it?
I'm actually surprised Telethar didn't go up and check Hookshot Cave, at least. That seemed like a bit of a fast save and quit. I would have at least gone to check Hookshot Cave.
Right, because, there's still flippers on the table. I mean, obviously we know where the flippers are, but yikes.
But yeah, that is actually may end up being a good play for Telethar because he's going to go into Mire and get his boots. And now he's a Flippers Go mode, so he's going to get to do Swamp and Ice in Go mode. So honestly, I feel like that gives Telethar a pretty good advantage, depending on when he does Smith Chain.
I'll tell you what, though. Telethar wins the advantage in my heart for attempting to do a bird toss. Unfortunately, taking a heart of damage, and we'll lose time in Mire 2 as a result. But you know what? You did manage to get the bird into the water.
I kind of get Telethar's method of thinking, too, though. He's like, okay, I've got a hook shot. I want my boots.
I agree, and that seems to be entirely the reason that Telethar picked this as the immediate next choice.
Now, zerorush is heading up the mountain, and I got to imagine he'll go check Super Bunny Cave first before doing anything else. So he's going to get that hook shot. The question is, does zerorush stay on the mountain and check Spike Cave?
Yeah, that's a tough call. It's a slow move to do, and zerorush does have the incentive to go check the tablet here, and not to come back in this direction to do so. So I'm actually kind of doubting that zerorush will do it unless it's a last-ditch desperation move. There's boots for Telethar at 56 minutes.
Okay, so the good news for zerorush at least will be if he does come in here without Samaria, he'll at least get his boots. But now all you need is that big key so you can go to 50. Gonna have to take a little bit of this dungeon, though.
That's big news right here, though. zerorush will be going to Spike Cave, so hope is still alive. Definitely an uphill battle here for zerorush to climb.
Yeah, now this might start swinging back in zerorush's favor. But it depends on if he goes to Super Bunny Cave after this or not. So yeah, if he goes to Super Bunny Cave, he'll be in Go mode.
You could see him consider the save and quit there, and I think that's indication that zerorush wanted to go to Super Bunny Cave, as we'll see him, at minimum, go back here to the mountain spawn. No flute. Looks like that is the plan.
Yeah, so... yeah, this just swung back to zerorush's side.
Yeah, because we saw zerorush already do Ice Palace, and that's a pretty hefty time investment. Telethar does have the advantage of Go mode and good equipment once he finds the flippers. If Telethar goes to Ice Palace early, that's going to hurt.
I just can't see that you would, because if you know your flippers from Go mode, you're not going to dip any flipper required items.
Right. And so it would be like Telethar making the crazy, last-ditch saving throw kind of play to Go mode dungeons while you can. And I don't see that either.
The biggest thing is just he needs to he's probably going to clear Mire, then he's going to go clear Desert right after this. So the big thing he's got to do is right after he's done with Desert, he's got to go do Smith Chain. So yeah, if he does Smith Chain immediately after this, then then this is a pretty close race still. As he's trying to get spooky action, but these anti-fairies were not cooperating.
I'm just going to pretend for a moment that the bomb helped him line that up. The lag frames, it was all calculated.
So yeah, zerorush is prepping for a TR dip as well. But he's going to go to Super Bunny first and get his hook shot.
Telethar, not with a lot of health to work with, opting not to go with damage boost strats, just going to take advantage of the magic meter available. I agree with this choice, although I think fortune favors the bold. It's worth, giving it a shot. Telethar will have enough arrows to pull this off, though, and that's Vidi down.
That was zerorush grabbing his hook shots and thinking for a moment. Like, wait, let's go mode.
Yeah, I think there might have been even a breath of relief if we could hear him. Because that had to have been like a I'm so glad I made this choice moment.
So yeah, the timer's on Telethar right now. He needs to do Smith Chain immediately after finishing Deserts.
Yeah, and in that scenario, this is a very tight race, as you mentioned previously. To address some questions in chat about Spooky Action Glitch, the reason that it can sometimes fail is because the setup that you use to set the variable for altitude is sometimes a little wonky. It can be very reliably reproduced, but if you set the wrong value, it might be literally impossible to get it to hit. It's the offset that you set the altitude to that determines how far away the fire rod hits. Also, if you don't hit the sprite there, as Telethar was having difficulty in the basement, you could just not activate it at all. The splash only applies to the fire rod if you hit a sprite.
I think that's a pretty good explanation of it.
All right, well, Ancilla aside, an ancillary check or two possible for Zero Rush, but I think once you know that there's only 2 items in Mire and you found those boots, you're not really stopping for anything but the requisite keys.
Yeah, exactly at this point.
I do really think that this is a seed that rewards remembering its ambrosia.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, JP, I forgot for a little while there.
I think you might need to drink some ambrosia yourself. I think some people consider that coffee.
Hey, we can go for that. And caffeine of the ancients. Cafe of the ancients? I don't know.
All right, Telethar, where are you going? I think he's gonna check. He's gonna check the bonk spots, which makes sense. Zero Rush is grabbing his big key. Telthar's getting his 4th sword.
Yeah, certainly not a critical find, but a welcome one always. At this point, likely to help Telethar with at least a couple of rooms in GT and maybe the Cold Stare fight.
Just a rupee in there. So we want to see him flute to 3. Nope, he's gonna go Ice Red Cave.
And to Telethar's credit, these are very fast checks to make when you have the boots. I mean, this is definitely the most efficient time to be doing it. We just know that that's not the answer. To address a question in chat about how these modes are selected, the way you want to think about it is you have a list of cards that have each of the modes. You got like 5 or 6 of them, I think. And each one is drawn every time that a match is selected, and then it's no longer available for the pool. So the more that you see a mode, the less likely you're to continue seeing that mode. Although we've seen some folks who have completely dodged some modes through their entire group stage and into the brackets.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Telethar. He's going back up to Hookshot Cave. If he just does Hookshot Cave, he might be okay, but if he goes into TR after Hookshot Cave...
Yeah, because at this point, Zero Rush very rapidly going to make his way into Desert Palace, and then Swamp is a blistering go mode dungeon at this point.
Yeah, and this is where leaving Hookshot Cave behind his first time, or when he's doing Super Bunny, might really hurt Telethar.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra climbing for this check, or for this set of checks. I would say the bottle's a welcome find with that red potion, but we are very, very well equipped at this point. 13 hearts, red mail, gold sword. Should not be necessary. Going into Turtle Rock may be the death sentence for Telethar here.
Yeah, and I'm thinking him not doing Hookshot Cave when he did Super Bunny Cave is probably what's going to do him in here, because if he had, he probably is less motivated coming in here right now. And he might have done Smith Chain right away instead, but yeah, this is a lot of time loss, and with Zero Rush and Go mode about to get his 6th crystal, yeah, it's not looking good for him at all.
When you think about, like, you know, the math available to Telethar right now, this totally is a defensible play. I mean, you've got a lot of checks here in Turtle Rock. You will mirror because that's safer. And with Hookshot Cave, there's just so much to do up here. Purple chest not really appealing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm with you, though, that if Telethar had done this earlier, you know, with the Hookshot Cave, I think you're 100% right. He would not have come back up here.
Yeah, math-wise, this makes total sense. It's just unfortunate. Zero Rush now is heading to Swamp Palace. He's just needed Go mode Swamp Palace away from his 7th crystal.
Well, I gotta ask here, JP, at this point, this is going to be all 3 pendants for Telethar. Do you think he checks the pedestal before Purple Chest?
He might. Well, no, he doesn't have Ice Rod. He needs, unless he finds Ice Rod in here, he's not going to be able to get this.
Right, good point. Although it does seem pretty likely. I guess Swamp Palace would be the other place.
Or GT. So there's the key pickup for Telethar. He's checking everything because he needs to check everything. Zero Rush, meanwhile, is on his way through a Go mode Swamp Palace.
Yeah, so a couple of locations we will not get to see thanks to that. Left side entirely, and probably the southern check in the main room. We might see diver down stuff. I don't think he needs much else, though, at this point.
The only thing he can gain at this point that would help him out is silvers, which a lot of runners won't even bother checking for.
Yeah, like, I can definitely see you checking the ones, like, in diver down room. That would make a lot of sense to me. Maybe waterfall chest. I mean, those are so fast to get.
Yep, they definitely are. So we'll see if he decides to check them or not. We know he's not going to pick up gold. Well, he does know he's not going to pick up gold star, but he doesn't care about that anyway.
Well, to Telethar's credit, this is a very fast trip to Mimic Cave. Getting here in a really fast pace. Getting an Ice Rod, which is cosmically cruel, in my opinion.
Yeah. The one time you want, or you don't want Ice Rod to be in here, it is.
Wow, and Zero Rush finds maybe the one item that would have been handy here is the powder. That's going to be helpful in BT, potentially.
And a shield in the big chest. I'm trying to figure out what would that even be. Mini vanilla?
I mean, potentially we find the other ones there, and it's just pseudo vanilla. It's off-brand vanilla extract.
Sounds about right.
Generic shield.
It's a store brand artificial vanilla. But I mean, to be fair, some store brands are really nice over the name brands.
Yeah, I just don't think I've ever considered the various qualities of vanilla. I think we maybe make jokes about French vanilla at the expense of the French community.
That is a 7th crystal, and people are already putting numbers in chat.
But JP, why did they do that?
Because they want some internet fame for guessing the correct chest that the GT Big Key is in Ganon's Tower.
There's a game that I can play at home?
Yes, there is a game you can play at home. If you don't want to play LTTP at all, you can just guess a number and play the GT Big Key guessing game.
Yo, but you should totally play ALTTP anyway.
Very true. Yes, play it anyway.
Well, I don't know. I don't like fractional numbers, so JP, you first. What do you think?
I always go for 15. I want vanilla. In the vanilla Big Key chest.
I think 8 feels great today.
I probably should have put together a points prediction, but I think we're a little too far, or a little too close to get it up now.
That's all right. It's whose GT Big Key is it anyway? Where the guesses are made up and the points don't matter.
Yep. Meanwhile, Telethar taking on Trinex. Gold Sword. This is going to be a pretty easy fight. Unfortunately, does not get the 1 cycle, or the 0 cycle. You'll get the 1 cycle.
Yeah, despite the extra cycle, to be honest, a perfectly smooth fight for Telethar. I'm curious what we're going to get from it.
And I think, yeah, at this point, if you're in his spot, you're just going to go pull the pedestal. You just spent so much time clearing Turtle Rock. You've got to just hope it's there. Zero Rush going into GT. Let's see, we got chest 1, $50. Chest 2, bombs. You gotta go left. Telethar running to the pedestal. He does have the book out. But unless it's... I think the only thing that's on there that he might even consider pulling at this point is the shovel. Well, Zero Rush continuing through GT. Just a hard piece, as Zero Rush opens chest 3 for a small key, 4 for rupees, 5 for a small key, 6 for rupees. And now I think Telethar is going to do Smith Chain. Let's see, or is he going to do North checks? Which would just be Graveyard Ledge and... pretty much Graveyard Ledge at this point. And yet... nope, he's going for Smith. So yeah, we already checked, so I forgot to mark the torch. Up, it looks like chest 9 is your answer. Fortunately, Kokam was just 1 off. And now it's just a climb up GT for Zero Rush. He is looking at probably just over a 120 on this one.
Yeah, by the looks of things, should be a very fast climb. Zero Rush has everything he needs in order to make this. I think you're right. 120 or in the neighborhood of.
Telethar setting up to check Magic Bat.
It's amazing to me how close this had been, and how quickly they went off the rails towards the later half of this race.
Yeah, I really did. Like, at one point, we were even talking about Telethar potentially having the advantage. But then Zero Rush just made the right choices and paid off. And there's a magic cape, which opens up another spot that I don't think we've seen, but obviously we don't. We know it's not there.
Right, I don't actually remember if because I don't think we've seen Graveyard Ledge, have we?
We have not.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's a location we weren't even heading towards to scout anyway.
Yeah, Telethar has the chest with the flippers in them. But he might be looping in Graveyard Ledge. Yeah, he's going to loop in Graveyard Ledge and Bumper Ledge at the same time.
Gonna do some nifty hookshot dashing to try and be a little faster about it. Unfortunately, not going to make the difference here, but you'll like to see it.
Yeah, Zero Rush is just making really quick work of this GT climb. Well, that was a little bit of a backwards fall.
10 steps forward, 1 step back. I think Zero Rush in the end will end up being happy with his performance today. Certainly a fast time for this format.
Oh yeah, potential 120. You're definitely going to be happy with that. It helped that a lot of the long dungeons were shortened or not needed. Could have actually even been faster. I don't think we needed anything out of pod, did we?
No, because the green pendant didn't give us anything besides a sword, right?
Yeah, which the sword's a nice upgrade, but doesn't accommodate for the time you spent in there.
And there are the flips for Telethar. To address a question in chat about why Telethar was dashing in weird ways with the chest, you drop the chest if you initiate a dash. However, if you're doing so in the middle of a hookshot animation or while the chest is catching up from the hookshot animation, you'll actually be able to dash with the chest, which does save time.
Telthar's going to do Swamp first, but Zero Rush is just entering Aga 2. Actually, Zero Rush has a chance to go sub 120 in this, depending on how Aga 2 goes.
Well, started off real nice.
Oh, yeah, he's going to 4-cycle it.
Which, for what it's worth, shouldn't have happened, but unfortunately the overlapping shots negated one of them. So, Zero Rush getting robbed slightly, not catching the license plate on that bat that just ran him over. Will make his way to the Pyramid of Power now.
Yeah, he still has a chance for a sub 120, but he would need some very friendly Ganon warps.
Yeah, on top of that, nailing a bunch of triples, but at the same time, definitely a blistering pace. Looking to probably be done before Telethar is even leaving Swamp Palace at this point.
Let's seem to play one more little game here. Well, 2 more games if you want. 1, how many Ganon warps? And 2, where do you think the silver arrows were?
I'm going for 1 warp. Silvers were in GT.
Well, that was a 0 warp to start. Another 0 warp. Zero, your name is Zero Rush, but you're rushing through this. That was 1 warp.
You can write all checks available to Unanimous. I'm just kidding. Desert Palace, wow.
So the item they left behind in Desert was the silvers.
And that would have been on boss, right?
No, they killed the boss. Would have been right side, I guess.
Did we steal a key?
No, I think the small key was in the big chest.
Oh, we just didn't bother checking because it was, yeah, a coin flip. Well, smooth triples going on through here as we see a bomb diver down attempt here for Telethar. Zero Rush really cruising through this fight.
That'll do it. Those GGs in chat.
Zero Rush crosses the threshold here with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 05 seconds. So I'm assuming he didn't hit the dot done right on the moment, but
No, he finished with 1:19:55. What you see is the moment Telethar forfeits, which was 10 seconds later.
Forgive me. As you can see, Telethar on screen. Yeah, so sub 120 for Zero Rush, really crushing it. It was a great race for the two of them. Zero Rush, of course, will move on. Telethar's tournament journey ends here, but an excellent showing all around. We'll see if we can get either of them in here for an interview. But if you haven't already, you should definitely check out these two on their personal channels. And there is a lot of randomizer action going on. This is the end of the round of 32, and we are rapidly approaching the closing moments of this tournament. And we are joined by Telethar. GG, Telethar.
GG.
First thing I want to mention is Telethar, please tell us about this Palace of Darkness bomb jump that I saw, because that was the spiciest, unusualest thing I've seen in a while.
Play more door rando. Yeah. What about it?
I was just wondering, like, what was the rationale there? Do you just want to show off for the chat? Because it looked really cool. It was really neat.
I don't have boots, so I can't get to that. Otherwise, I'd have to circle around, and I want to go get big key chest, so it would require circling back afterwards.
It was really nifty. I thought that was really neat. We are also joined by the winner of the race today, Zero Rush. GG.
Hello. Good games.
Good games. Congrats, Zero Rush.
Thank you. That was a fun seed. It was interesting. Yeah. Well, so the interesting thing was, if I had gone to Super Bunny Cave before doing Spike Cave, I probably would have last located that cane, and we would have been in similar boats, I think.
Yeah. I'd
maybe.
Well, probably not, because I still would have done TR where you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I did Spike Cave after doing Paradox and getting the book, so I said, okay, I'll swing back over there, check the tablet and drop down.
Yeah, it's funny that we were joking about boots and GT before the race started, because it's effectively pretty close to what it was with the location of all of the items. Like boots and Meyer, so it's hard hookshot locked, and hookshot was really late. That's always fun.
So any thoughts about Ambrosia as the format for today? It definitely reared its ugly head a few times with those boots, but what do you guys think of this in the tournament format? I guess I'll start with Telethar.
Ambrosia's fine. It's not significantly different than Tournament Hard. Like, it has a little bit of quirks, and I think that those are probably for the better. A little bit of metagaming you can play around. Oh, I know the boots are here, so like, I might have considered holding off on some of the checks that I did in the hopes that I could do them with boots, but knowing that I needed hookshot to get the boots, and like I needed hookshot mitts and flute to get to the boots anyway, it was like, okay, they're late. The boots are going to be late. I shouldn't bother. I'm not too concerned about walking through this area or that area. So like, I don't know. The boots can sometimes be in a bad spot, but they could just as easily be in a bad spot in any seed. Like, having a hint doesn't make them worse.
Well, what do you think about Ambrosia in general, zerorush? I mean, you won today, obviously, but how do you feel like this mode fits well in the format, or not, or otherwise?
So I like Ambrosia. I would much prefer casual boots, obviously, as like the standard mode format, but I think the biggest thing Ambrosia brings is not so much the boot hint as the guaranteed prize on bosses, which changes a lot of decision making around pendant dungeons. And if it's worth going there or not, because for some dungeons you can really easily skip a lot of stuff if you know where that last item is, like Skullwoods, Fire come to mind. Yeah, like if you find an item in the first chest, you know the second item's on the boss, for example. So I like that aspect of it. It changes the like mid-game decision making in that way, but overall, I think I prefer casual boots for sure.
So by the looks of things, looks like there have been a lot of tournament inverted keys in your journey so far. Does that sound correct, zerorush? I'm looking at how we generated this one.
Yeah, so I've had one open, two Ambrosias now, and then every other race has been Key Sanity, some form of Key Sanity, and I think I've had two boss shuffles, two or three, but most of my races have been some form of Key Sanity, yeah. Inverted Keys, I think I've had like four or five races with that one.
That's a handful. What about you, Telethar? How have you been as far as your mode distribution this tournament?
It's been pretty even. McBoss, I only had the one time, and it's only half of a time really because it didn't count. Otherwise, it's been pretty distributed.
Well, I have been definitely very happy to have an opportunity to talk about this race with JP today. Zerorush and Telethar, GGs, and congratulations on getting this deep into the tournament. This is a very stacked pack of racers to compete against, and I would be standing tall in your shoes, Telethar. This is an excellent performance so far to get this deep into the tournament. You did, of course, take down Aridin on the way through with a commanding 2-0 win, and that deserves being featured here on this channel talking about that. Zerorush having taken down Daze Cloud, you are looking at the winner of the current race going on between Plasma Kappa and Shimo. Any thoughts looking forward to the remainder of the bracket?
Not really. I think mode's going to play a lot more of a role than who my opponent ends up being, probably. Just this late in the tournament, you can kind of assume everyone is pretty capable mechanically, so it'll just be a matter of getting favorable modes versus them. So yeah, I'll probably just do some more key sanity practice, since that seems to be the mode I'm the worst at, and hopefully that'll be good enough.
Fair point. And any closing thoughts on the seed, Zerorush?
On this seed, not really, but just shout outs to Telethar, really good games, and obviously huge props to him for giving me the rematch on game 2. Obviously I would not be in the tournament right now if he didn't, so I just want to make sure that's appreciated.
Yeah, no worries, man. It wasn't a win I earned, so I didn't feel like taking it.
Can absolutely appreciate that sentiment. And Telethar, do you have any closing thoughts to share with the audience on the way out at the end of this broadcast?
No, just it's been a great tournament. I wish I could stay in it, but my time's over. But thank you to everyone who's rebroadcasting, commentators, trackers, and all the chats being here, tournament admins.
I definitely echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I'll be in chat.
And we're looking forward to seeing your next tournament appearance. Do you have any particular plans for any upcoming ones?
Cross Keys tournament is the one that I'm registered for.
Makes sense. We did show us some door rando action in terms of techniques earlier, so I wouldn't be surprised to hear you also an aficionado of the cross keys world. And folks, if you are interested in seeing Telethar's journey there or Zero Rush throughout the rest of this tournament, find them on their own Twitch channels. They do practice and play. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today here on Speed Gaming, and JP for joining me on the mic. Big thanks to Power to Mario for doing our tracking today. And if you are looking for more randomizer action, besides the one on SG4, probably close to wrapping up now, it is pretty much just next week. I see June 14th, a couple of matches, and the 15th, we'll have a P-Train versus Tito. So as we gear up for the round of 16, expect a lot more of those to hit the schedule. And of course, if you want to catch all of them, you got to follow the Speed Gaming channels. I have talked quite a bit. JP, do you have any closing thoughts before we sign off here?
I think you covered most of it. Thanks again to our runners. Thanks to Mario for tracking. Thanks for joining me here in commentary. This was a really good race. It's kind of unfortunate it goes this way, but yeah. It was a good run for Telethar. Zero Rush going to continue on. We'll be seeing them both in more tournaments. So, yeah, make sure to keep watching. We'll see some more action as we go into the round of 16. And, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good day.
See you later, folks.